too loose. Need a tighten, no took her to Hermes. Got her items up, what and it fucked up. And the spider home. Free the guy down the road, got a hiding phone. Had my name from the street, not a microphone. Ain't no sleep, she on toot, I took Adderall. Niggas act like they us, but they not. Caught the baddest, I put down in my teeth like on power walk. Pretty titties, her whole body sauce off. Hold the back of her head till her jaws lock. I don't care what he do, he a cornball. Extra layers, I'm dressing, I'm stuffed game. I'm the real one, 2 million on pinky ring. Come through pimping like Pinky without the cane. Niggas thinking they happy, they Eddie Kane. I been put on this stuff since my baby frame. Walk around with $1 that's pocket change. Niggas think that you smart till you knock your brain. I done brought the rover like I'm the flame. Me and Ski trying to see who the coldest shit. If I see you with bro, I don't know the bitch. Extra stuff every time, extra stuff every time, extra stuff every time when I'm stepping out. Put on stuff every time, put on stuff every time, put on stuff every time when I'm stepping out.
8x8, 36, 0 waste, 3 on 3, my type of date. All this stuff, I might be late. It's all this stuff, 8x8. Stuff is stuff is stuff. Stuff is stuff is stuff. Stuff is stuff is stuff is stuff. Wow, breaking the 9. Inside the spot, you know 3 of them mine. Feel like one oak and they one of a kind. 3 of a kind. Put on my ice and all 3 of them blind. I put grease in my soda, I'm trying to get fried. She rocking that outfit, she trying to get high. Rubbers on rubbers, I never get tired. Bought her that ice and I know she still lying. Brought number 1 on the plane cause she fly. Brought number 2 a new whip, she got dry. Brought number 3 a new Gucci, so dick. Brought number 4 a new sticker, she 5. Brought number 5, she not 5, number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5. Yeah, one at a time. Yeah. Stuff. Wow.
Today, we're going to talk about the NBA and NHL Slate, CBB winners for tonight, and we got to cash a squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. I mean, Chucky Hepburn had Boopie Miller in jail. It was tough to watch. Maybe the worst game I've ever seen. Boopie Miller missing layups left and right. Couldn't cover a parked car. You got Chucky Hepburn jacking up threes. Didn't have a chance because for some reason, I don't know why, but in hockey, a 2-goal lead is actually like losing. It might be worse than losing. You might as well be losing because a 2-goal lead is never safe.
This feels like a game where Ohio State can make this weirdly close, but it's a game where you look at it and you're like, okay, Purdue should dominate at home, and you turn it on because it's a tied game with 3 minutes left and Ohio State's fighting. I think this is going to be a close game when really on paper it shouldn't be at all.
And then I see this quote from the coach, his starting center, Tomislav. He literally said, deathly ill. The kid's sitting on your fucking bench. What are you talking about? He's deathly ill. He looks fine to me. And if he is that sick, why is he sitting next to the rest of your team? Are the neurons in your brain not functioning? What's going on up there in Illinois? What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL of the week. Episode 629 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit now, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Start tracking your bets today over there on Bookit Sports, the best bet tracking app out there by far on the App Store or Google Play. Jovan, I'll just get right to it. That one stung last night.
Stung, dude. Stung.
That sucked.
That was a late collapse. The worst part, I wish I would have been it would have stung a little less if they were kind of playing Memphis's game. They just outscored them for a while. They had him in a box, dude. Colby Rogers just turned into like literally Olympics Curry at the end after doing nothing all game, which was Moose.
Yep. I mean, literally the closest game of all time, the entire game. And then right at the end, Memphis is playing like they're losing when they're up like 5. Next thing you know, they're banging threes like it's their job to close out the game on a crazy run. In the last minute or two, Jovan, they're running up and down the courts like they're losing the game, like they're trying to come from behind instead of just running the clock out. They did not take their foot off the gas pedal. I guess I respect it from Memphis, right? I'm never going to roast a team for putting in effort, but it cost us. And those threes from Colby Jones, right? Cost us some coins.
Yeah, just got tip cap. Those are some ridiculous shots.
Goodness gracious. Let's take a peep at the rest of the plays from yesterday and see how we did. 2 and 3 from me. Did Juwan Gary not get there? in OT? I'm assuming he didn't. It was close. It was close. Jacob Dobbs gave up 3 goals. Great. Nebraska won. They came through. Great game from the Cornhuskers. That's a tough place to play. I don't care how mooshit that team is. They showed that again last night. And Hallstra, pretty good look as well. Taking some of these nastier dogs in these meaningless games. Not meaningless, but less meaningful games. Maybe that'll end up paying out for us in CBB. They paid last night with Hallstra.
Yeah, sneak sharp review, Krabs. Love that.
Yep. But nothing to write home about. Still 2-3 day. We got to bounce back today, find some winners, and we got to cash a squad ride to end the week strong. All right, Jovan, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's hop right in. We're going to talk about some Sharp Report plays for today. Before we do, I want to go ahead and drop the link to the hats. If you guys have not copped a Bookit scripted hat yet, only a couple left. Get involved. We'll drop the link here one more time. Gootsy, I'm happy to do it, and he beat me to it because he's him. W. Goots dropped the link in the Twitch chat if you want to get involved. Support the squads, cop a fresh hat. The link is in the chat. Get involved. All right, 5 different colors, and we're about to sell out of some of these puppies. Okay? Dead Larry Bird, yes. Campbell, the Camels. They won by 40.
The Goats.
Unbelievable play. Unbelievable play. All right, let's keep moving to grooving, Jovan. Let's go ahead and hop into the Sharp Report plays for today and talk about some winners. I got 3 CBB plays for the peeps today, keeping it simple. Sticking on the CBB boards. And yes, I am back in Georgetown, unfortunately, today, gents. Stick with me on this one. They're playing Butler, a team who is 9-12. They don't have the same record as Georgetown does after Georgetown had a nice start to the season. But right now, these two teams kind of trending in different directions. You got Georgetown, who's been struggling of late. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and they just got emasculated by St. John's in their last game, Jovan. They lost 66-41 in that contest. Not a ball game. Embarrassing game. And that was after they lost at Providence in Coach Cooley's Super Bowl, right? So 2 bad losses in a row. Not trending upwards. You look at Butler. I know they're not coming off a win against Marquette, but they almost won that game, and they damn should have covered. I cannot believe they didn't cover that game. They ended up losing by 9. L Hook for Butler bettors in that game. But if you look at their recent games, they beat DePaul, they beat Seton Hall, they almost beat UConn. It's clear this Butler team is playing much better basketball right now. Well, they're heading on the roads to D.C. tonight, Capital One Arena, and this Georgetown team I want to buy low on after some abysmal performances, and I want to sell high on Butler here on the roads. Jovan, Butler simply has one of the worst defenses in college basketball. I know they have size. Okay, I know they have bodies. And they got, they play plenty of forwards, and they have plenty of size to stack up with guys like Sorber and co. But I think Georgetown dominates on offense in this contest. And I think you see Sorber shine after a bad offensive performance in that last game against one of the worst defenses in the Power 5. They're going to absolutely emasculate Butler and get their lick back after an embarrassing performance in their last game. 2 bad L's in a row for Georgetown. They get back on the saddle tonight. Who the heck wants to play Georgetown to win this game by 4 or more against Butler, who almost just beat Marquette in that last game? Probably nobody. I'll do it.
Might have to do it, Krabs.
Might have to do it.
I'm in.
And yes, chat, very perceptive today. The Mount. We got a lot of Mount love in the chat. You guys don't know how happy that makes me. It really does. A lot of Mount looks in the chats. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down. We'll save the Mount for a sec. I want to see what Jovan's crafting up over there for his first straight bet.
Yeah, let's get nasty, Krabs. Going to Indiana, or I guess to Indiana, quite literally, in West Lafayette. But we're taking the Hoosiers, not Purdue, which everybody seemed to be on this morning, which is not why I'm fading it. But it seems to be like an Ohio State situation in this game. You got an Indiana team that is absolutely ice cold, playing horrendous basketball, not just personnel-wise, but, I mean, they've been one of the worst coached teams, I think, in America so far, which is why they're underperforming as vastly as they are. But for this game, I think you have a Purdue team that's, steamrolling through a majority of the competition. Even in the game that they slipped up against Ohio State, they followed it up with a massive win over Michigan, a team who, kind of is built similarly to Indiana, better shooters, but they run 2 bigs. They have a lot of size in the interior, and and Purdue kind of found their way around that and dominated that game offensively. And I think you were on them too. I was on points in that game. I love their offense, and I think their offense can find some success in this game. But Indiana, I think, will have one of the better offensive performances they've had in quite some time, because I think you can make the argument that, like, Braden Smith can do whatever he wants on the pick and roll. They run a lot of drop coverage. He can get to the rim. He can facilitate against Indiana. But on the defensive side of the ball, like Trey Kaufman-Renn, as good as he is offensively, he has not been great defensively against a lot of bigs so far in conference play. I think the only exception being literally last game against, the combination whenever he switched on Danny Wolf and then when he was on Vlad for a little bit. He played decently well, but I don't think that's going to be the case against Ballo and Renault in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of inside work for Indiana, and I think this is where they're going to make this game gross and show their size. And it's going to be one of those weird close games in the Big Ten that really nobody ever expects to be close. So I'm in for the second time in a row. I guess I'm fading Purdue at home with a big road dog.
You don't got to tell me twice as we get a DeGen raid coming in, party of 31. Gents, we appreciate you. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday and hope you were lapping up some winners earlier today. Let me know what the POD is so we can get hip. W, gents. Jovan, yeah, you don't got to tell me twice. We're fading Purdue tonight. We're fading Lawyer tonight, and we're back in Indiana. The Hoosiers on the roads. Surely that goes well.
Yep, surely.
Whew. You like Bayo's rebounds? I don't know if you checked out that square, but
I can't. But
apologies.
Yeah.
Yes, my fault. Well, they don't have a normal rebound square up. They have a bunch of different demons and goblins for him tucked away all the way at the bottom of the board if you type in Indiana. Absolutely Texas tucked away. And they've got like 7 different numbers you could play Bayo at. You got 2 different goblins and you got a bunch of demons. Maybe there's a reason they don't have a normal square up for Bayo's rebounds. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't mind taking a stab at him to dominate and grab 10 plus boards potentially at a demon price.
I could see that. I mean, you know who else I think shows up, whether it's actual free-flowing offense or a couple of second chance points. He hasn't looked very great since he came back. The whole offense hasn't, but I think Renault has a pretty decent game. I don't know if he has squares up, but
okay,
if he does, I would be inclined.
He doesn't.
That's Moose. Probably shouldn't, because
okay.
But I think he has.
We got DeGen coming in, giving out a subby to the peeps. Let's go, DeGen.
Maybe DeGen.
I haven't seen DeGen in chat yet.
Oh,
He's got to be lurking now.
We raid.
DeGen, let me know what your favorite play is so far today. Would love to talk about that. W's DeGen. Appreciate you, Beast. Yeah, Jovan, I'm all over Indiana plus 12.5 with you. I know fading Purdue and backing Indiana away from home is a death wish, but I didn't hear no bell. Let's go back to it. And no pun intended with talking about Bayo squares. I didn't hear no bay. Yeah. That's a terrible dad joke. Jesus. All right, let's swing it around. I got one more college. I got 2 more CBB plays for you guys, but only one that really matters here. Okay, the mounts. Let's talk about them. Chat, Jovan actually brought this play up to me. Not that I already wasn't fucking it earlier today, but Jovan brought this up to me. He said, you take a peep at that mount line earlier today. And Jovan, surely I did. Down to 7.5 from 8.5 after a couple losses in a row, 4 to be exact for the Mounts, who's been reeling of late after a great start to the season. They've dropped 4 straight games in a row to Ryder, Quinnipiac, Siena, and Manhattan. Jovan, they were favorites in 2 of those games. You can't be dropping all those games to Mount. What are we doing? Well, luckily tonight, they're getting some extra points here. Maybe the odds makers are starting to finally adjust after the recent stretch for both these teams because Merrimack's been on a kind of a roll right now. And this is a team that we've gassed up, a team that we've targeted, a team that we've even bet on at times over the years, Jovan. Merrimack, they've low-key been a wagon of late. 4 out of their last 5 games they've won. This is a perfect fade spot, a perfect buy low, sell high spot, in my opinion, in the MAC tonight between Mount St. Mary's and Merrimack. No pun intended. I want to take the points here with the Mounts coming off of 4 straight L's, buy low on them, a team that's impressed me a ton in year 1 of their new coach this season. And I want to fade Merrimack and sell high on them after 4 wins in their last 5 games.
Yeah, I'm down, and brought it up to you, of course. But Merrimack is like one of my sneak teams that I love. I bet on them, I guess, a lot more in non-conference than I have in conference. But they've been on a roll. They just went through a little 2-game road stretch where they dominated in very, very different ways. Now they come home against a team that's struggled to defend. The problem is, like Merrimack, their offense is not really built to get to the rim like that against a team that's going to let them do it. So, I don't think it's as good a matchup as you're going to get like throughout the league for a lot of the better teams in the MAC against Mount St. Mary's defense. So I think it stays close.
It's time, chat. It's time to sack up and trust the Mount. Today's the day. All right, it's been a while. Today's the day. All right. You got another straight bet for the peeps, Jovan?
Yeah, another big dog that I'm hoping has some upset potential.
Okay.
The Pelicans, which usually I wouldn't take a play like this because I guess a similar story to what the Rockets Grizzlies like that just happened the other day. I guess it was like the widely accepted kind of sharp play because the Rockets have beat them pretty much all year, and then you came back and it was a big spread. So I know they won the game in the end, the Grizzlies did, but didn't end up covering. So like the Pelicans just made this very, very close. I think they lost by 1 point in the game that was not too long ago. Somewhat different lineups that are going to be playing today, especially because I think the depth pieces, as far as the big men go, whether it's like Daniel Tice or some of the other stretch guys that are going to be potentially not playing for the Pelicans, it's, I think, a bigger deal than it would seem, because with this, not only are you going to get your guy Misi out there guarding probably Kristaps for when he's going to be on the floor, but I think it's going to also force the Pels to play a lot more small ball lineups, which that very well could include putting Zion at the 5. So like this game, I believe, kind of makes the Pelicans play more into the Celtics style of ball. So I feel like they can match everything that the Celtics are going to throw at them. Obviously, there's a lot better talent on one side than the other, but I think this is a golden matchup because what they were doing in that first game when they were still playing like with their regular rotation for the most part, and I say regular, not that the Pelicans are fully healthy, but what they were playing with at the time, they just kind of built a wall for Zion and kind of made him be the facilitator, did everything in their power to help them or make him not drive the ball. That works a lot when you have Misi and Tyson there for the entire game, or another big, I guess. But if you're playing small ball with a lot of, I don't know, 5 out, that's not going to work. I feel like defensively that puts the Celtics in a really tough spot. So I think it's probably one of the more interesting just basketball, I guess, matchups of the day to see how the Pelicans come out. And I think they're going to adjust and make this close. And especially, we'll talk about Zion in a little bit. I think he's going to do a great job facilitating, feeding all the open shooters and feeding some cuts where a lot of his assists have come from too. So give me the Pels to make this one weird.
I'm down. Taking the Pels. Looks like they're down to plus 10.5 most places too right now. Jovan, fuck the CLV. Love to see it.
Sure.
Good. Yeah, they've been on a tough stretch right now. They're reeling. They've lost 4 in a row. Have not been covering really much at all. But I'll tell you what, this might be a square comment, but the Celtics have not really impressed me much so far this season. They're 19, 27, and 2 against the spreads. They have not looked as impressive this season as they have in recent years. I feel like that's not really reinventing the wheel.
No,
that hot of a take, but
they've lost a lot of
fadeable
games as double-digit favorites. They really haven't put. Maybe this is more so like recent, like the last month and a half than the entirety of the season, but like they've really struggled to put together like 2 dominant performances as big favorites really at all. And they just had one against the Bulls where they covered, I think they're like 14-point favorites and won by 20 plus. So hoping that trend continues tonight.
All right. Back in the points, we might need them. Although I saw Banana in chat saying he wouldn't be shocked if the Pelicans end up winning this one outright. Okay.
Wouldn't be
All
shocked.
right, Banana. Yep. Tulane, I bet. Curdy Flirty, we'll bounce back today, brother. Trust us one more time tonight.
Bitching, dude.
I know. Let him bitch that. He deserves it. That play sucked.
Sure.
We'll bounce back tonight with a winner. Get involved, Curdy Flirty. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Okay? All right, Jovan, let's swing it back around. I got one more CBB play for the peeps here. Dayton. Very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. I'm shocked to see Dayton open up a favorite on the road with how they've looked of late, especially considering St. Louis is coming in off that big win. They just won and beat VCU, one of the hotter teams, hotter mid-majors in college basketball in that last game. And St. Louis is starting to roll right now. This team with Robbie Avila, new coach, new star, trying to build up the St. Louis program after a couple of abysmal years. Jovan, right now they're playing pretty good. They've won 3 of their last 4, including that big-time win they're coming off of against VCU in their last game. Dayton, on the other hand, much of the opposite. It's been a pretty poor season overall for Dayton. The Flyers, kind of a down year to start out. And they're coming off a really bad loss against St. Bonaventure, Jovan, where I actually faded them and backed the Bonnies, getting 2 points at home. And they won that game by more than 20 points. They held Dayton to 53 points in that contest. So I'll back the Flyers coming off that embarrassing performance where they couldn't even eclipse 55 points against St. Bonaventure, which is a defense not really to write home about. I'll back Dayton to bounce back where they opened up a favorite in the spot. Even seeing them as a short dog right now with how they've looked compared to St. Louis, I think could be, you could even say that's looking sharp, plus 1.5 with how Dayton's looked this season if you take the names away and the recent history and successes away from the Dayton Flyers program. I think we back them to bounce back and we fade St. Louis coming off that big-time win against VCU.
Yeah, I mean, I won't tell you now. I don't know if I'm ready to counter to fade Slew, but I would certainly not be betting them off that big win either. Maybe it's just PTSD from, I don't know. Yeah, if you go, 2-0 in Dayton games in a week, that would be extremely impressive, I would say.
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
Not easy to do at all.
And now I'm scared. Okay. Krabs, just a heads up, the mount is awful right now. Snacks, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. All right. We know that team's better than they've looked over the last week and a half. They'll show it tonight. Got a feeling Dallas Hobbs shows up tonight. I think he carries his mount offense.
Gonna have to.
Look, they got the pieces. They got a pretty good big man as well, holding down the paint. All right. Krabs Jovan, what's your one NBA lock? Jay Mazie, well, there's no such thing as an NBA lock, but we can give you our favorite NBA plays. And Javon's already got some NBA plays in the Sharp Report, so I'll go ahead and let him take this question first.
Yeah, depends on what you're looking for, because I definitely have some squares that I probably feel better about than even the side as far as the Pelicans
I think he wants
go.
a side. He has a free bet or something.
Yeah, if it's a side, then obviously I'm with the Pels.
Cool. And that's what I was hoping you were going to say after that sell job as well.
Yeah.
I'll be tailing that puppy. I'd say for me, it's probably the Spurs plus 2.5. Got a weird feeling they win this game outright against the Bucks. Again, the Bucks, a team that has not impressed me at all this season.
Sure.
I think it's the Spurs. They haven't beaten them in like 4 years. I think they get their lick back tonight.
Okay.
Krabs, I'll look up the goalie narrative for you today and save you some coin. W Nerfy chats. I definitely will not decline that offer. Okay. And we can take a peep at the NHL board and some of those plays here in a little bit, guys. Okay. For now, let's hear Javon's. Oh, he does have an NHL play. All right. Take us to the ice, sir. What do you got?
I do. Weird, just an odd team, I guess, to figure out right now in CBJ, because they've been putting together some great performances followed by some very confusing ones. Last night, I mean, it was just an odd game. They were getting wailed on for the majority of that game, got bailed out by, I think, a really good Merzlikins performance, and then ended up pulling through in the end, which, again, that was, I guess, one of the more popular favorites in the NHL last night in VGK, and they played pretty well. I thought it was going to come with goals, too. Wasn't the case. The defense showed up, so now they're heading to Utah, which is such a strange place, because not only is that team kind of the same way, just incredibly up and down, just strange performances, but you also have a CBJ team that's been much better at home, like you're saying in chat, much better at home. But they picked up just these weird road wins, and then you have a Utah team that you can't really cap at all because they've been horrible at home in spots where they're supposed to dominate, just like this one. So I think, again, I'm kind of hoping. Yesterday, I was more so hoping that VGK would come out aggressive, but I thought that was going to be the case. CBJ kind of sat back. They got wailed on. They handled the defensive pressure or offensive pressure really, really well. This one, I think the script has to flip, and I think it will. I mean, Utah has just not sustained it all that well. So I think even on a back-to-back here for CBJ, I think they're going to be aggressive on the road, put that Utah defense on their heels, because when they have looked like deer in headlights. So I think this is where they make it close. I could 100% see an overtime game. I'm not so sure it comes with all that many goals in this game, because it's probably how CBJ is going to be able to stand in it, even without, the Merzlikins performance to bail him out. So I like this one to stay close. And again, I think there's a pretty decent likelihood we see this one in an extra period too.
Okay. Fading the Utah Hockey Club at home, where they've struggled so far this season. They're 500 on the year overall, but I'm looking at their record at home. Only 8-11.
So yeah, for more so for Utah, it's like the spots. Because just like today, I mean, they're getting a CBJ team off a back-to-back. Granted, I'm not going to say Utah's in the best spot themselves because they're dealing with a couple of injuries, but they consistently get these teams coming in where, they're rested, the other team is not. They're a big favorite in the game, just like they are today, and that's when they sell your coin. Or whenever they're, I don't know, the team that should win or the team that's incredibly sharp, that's when they sell it more so than anything. But yeah, their overall performances have not been great either.
Okay. All right. We got some subbies coming in right now, Jovan. We got Spain PNR coming in. Thoughts on tapping into college lacrosse this season? Jovan?
I don't know what you're asking me for, Krabs. That's your domain, brother. I tell you,
fucking around. Yeah, Saturday, college lacrosse starts up tomorrow. Excuse me. We will have some plays this season. We will have some plays tomorrow. Excited to dabble into it.
Get your Notre Dame futures in.
Sure. I'm sure they'll at least be in the dance. They'll at least be there, dude. So I'm not going to counter, right? They're an absolute wagon. And we got a hype train moving and grooving, folks. But yeah, if you guys are betting college lacrosse this season, hit my DMs. Let's craft up. Let's get in the lab. And we got PLL on the horizon as well. Don't forget about it.
Yeah,
We got
a lot of college hitting the board. College baseball starting in 2 weeks.
Let's go. All right. I know you'll have some college baseball.
Yeah.
Sure. We got Vanisk coming in, resubbing as well for a month. Let's go, Vanisk. Welcome to the show, my man. We appreciate you. Max Hacks Bets coming in, resubbing as well for 18 months as seasoned vets. He says Cooley out indefinitely for Utah head coach.
Hockey club.
Or Utah Hockey Club. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right. W Max, he's dialed. Appreciate the subbies, guys. We need to lock in for college baseball all year, Gents Club Sports is saying.
Yeah. I put out some feelers. I didn't know if people were actually into it like that because, I mean, I watch TCU in the Big 12, a ton. I keep up with it enough to, I could make a play here and there, and we have, a short slate, and then obviously kind of ramp it up going into the postseason and College World Series. But people were down, so we're going to have to be locked.
A lot of the early season tournaments are at Globe Life.
Yeah, they have Globe Life. They even have one at the Frisco Rough Riders field, which is 2 seconds down the street.
Wow.
So we'll probably be there too.
We got a hype train moving and grooving, folks. We're almost at level 2 if you want to get involved and push us over the edge there. Let's have a day. Goots, you excited for some college baseball? I'm sure you're pretty tapped. I know you were going to some Salisbury games back in the day.
Beyond excited, yes.
Yeah, good.
Salisbury's ranked 5th in D3 rankings. So
wow,
watch out.
All right,
the goals are coming.
Hey, the day the Hokies finally get to Omaha is the day I get to go to Omaha and enjoy the College World Series. So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, unlikely this year.
Yeah,
more likely that Virginia gets there.
Yep, they're wagon. All right. Z Shrenick coming in hot saying you got to peep lawyer assist on the pop tab, brother. I've seen it, and I am not happy about it. It's looking like he is a shoo-in for 2 assists tonight for Purdue. And we could talk about that square a little bit once we go over the CBB boards. But yeah, he's got a 1.5 assist square up tonight, Jovan. Lawyer does, and it's a completely redded out chart. He's either had 1 or 0 in his last couple games. Not ideal.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It might be kind of ideal.
All right.
It's interesting.
CBB Super Bowl tonight. Niagara, Canisius. Bro, no way we're running back Canisius, dead Larry Birds. Just say the word, though. We got Pip Talks coming in, resubbing. Let's go. We got the hype train moving and grooving level 2. Sure. Let's go, Pip. Atta boy. Way to get involved. Way to push us over the edge there. All right. Jovan, W straight bets. You want to go over the prize pick squares?
Of course.
All right. Let's get to it. Let's hop right in, chat. I got a couple CBB squares that I like that are perfect complements to the straight bets I got in CBB on the Sharp Report today as well. I'm going the big man, the freshman, the stud, the best player on this Georgetown basketball team, one of the most underrated bigs in college basketball this season. The only problem is he's a little inconsistent. Well, tonight he's going to be consistent. Tonight he's going against one of the worst defenses in college basketball, and I'm loving Georgetown here, laying the number. I like points in this game. I like the over, and I'm thinking Sorber coming off a bad game, bounces back offensively, and carries this Georgetown team to a big-time W. I know on the surface it might look like a sketchy play. If you go over and take a peep at Butler's roster, they got a lot of big bodies on that team. They're physical. Nobody wants to play that team, but they're slow, and Sorber's got some height on some of those guys. I think he dominates. And looking at his prize pick squares, point square, pretty high, pretty reds, pretty inconsistent, and coming off a bad offensive game. I want to back him to carry Georgetown, the Hoyas, to a big-time win at Capital One tonight.
Sure. I'm in for that. Love me some Sorber.
Big Sorbs. Yeah, he's him. He's good. And then Nate Santos, back in the best player on Dayton tonight as well. He's not coming off his best game either. And I like the over in this game too. That's kind of why I targeted both squares in these 2 games, Georgetown and Dayton, 2 offenses that I think show up today with totals moving upwards in their games. Again, if Dayton wants to win this game, they're going to have to put the ball in the hoop, and Nate Santos is going to have to score a little bit more than he's been doing. This guy leads the team in points per game, sitting around 14.5. But for some reason on the road tonight, he's up for 15.5 points after a bad game in his last contest, and he's been pretty inconsistent as well. I've noticed a lot of these CBB squares, they put these guys up for their averages, right? I'm not surprised to see that, right? They don't have all the time in the world to focus on CBB. whenever I see guys at different numbers than their averages, it always piques my interest, especially in games where I like that team to cover and put up some points. And both these spots up here on the board tonight, Sorber and Santos, qualify in that category. We got to back both goats on these two squads. And I'll tell you right now, Nate Santos is dropping a 20 burk. I wouldn't mind a demon as well.
Sure. I'm in for that. Goated.
Let's go to your squares, my man. I know you can't see the CBB board, so it's not as sweet.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your NBA plays.
Not as sweet. I'll be straight betting. I'll be tailing.
Sure.
Start off with Zion because I think there's a couple different angles for his RA from the rebounds perspective of things. Like I said, they're probably going to go small ball at times. Like that doesn't help it incredibly, but they're not going to do that for the entirety of the game, which means you're still going to have Misi in there. You're still going to have probably, if it's not Tice, you're going to have like Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and he's going to be guarding, Chris Stapps. So he's going to be kind of out on the perimeter quite a bit because that's how they stretch out really anybody, but especially this Pelicans team because they want to open driving lanes for Tatum and Brown and everybody else. So Zion's going to be a pretty big force on the rebounds, and I think that's important to them staying in this game early on. They do go small ball, it is what it is. He's still going to be around there for rebounds, but on the offensive end, I think it'll be a big factor too, him kind of being in there for second chance points, especially again against the Celtics team. So I think he's going to be a force on the boards. And then on the assist side of things, just like I mentioned in that last game where they had, a couple different guys in there and they'll have tonight, they were daring him to make every pass. Anytime he made the slightest move to drive on the basket, there were 3 defenders in his face. He made a couple of the assists, and a couple of them were to cutting big men on the rim, but he never really established like passing out to the perimeter for the shooters, which was open pretty much every time. I think after seeing that, and especially if you're a little, shorthanded and he's playing the small ball 5 and you got more shooters on the court, he's going to make those passes that are going to be open. And this is how the Pelicans, again, are going to stay in this game. So give me Zion for his RA, and then Kyrie just simply has to be done today. 25.5 points. He's going up against the Pistons, which again, kind of just dare you to score on them on the pick and roll. So it's going to be one of those matchups where I could go back 3 weeks pretty much, and you can see all of these guys that have torched them doing it. I think Ant's 53-point game was against them too. So it's kind of just the matchup and how the Pistons decide to guard a lot of these guys. I think Kyrie's going to absolutely feast in this game.
Well, I got some bad news for you.
I just see it.
Sorry, bro. Hey, doesn't mean he's not playing yet.
Yeah, it's Zion, so we'll see.
I didn't hear no bell. He is off the board. God, you can't make it up with the timing sometimes, man. You can't. You can't make it up. Well, at least we got a hype train moving to groove in level 2. So we had that. That's a W. Jovan, we'll see if he ends up playing, though. I have not heard no bell just yet.
It wasn't by himself, though. So that makes me feel better.
Okay.
They released the whole report for the whole team. So we'll see.
All
Tice
right.
is out. Hawkins is out. So that is huge.
All right. Sure. He's questionable with a non-COVID illness.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We will see.
We will literally be seeing. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Kyrie Irving might be dropping a 30 bomb tonight, huh?
Yeah. Also, definitely helps. He got snubbed from the All-Star game. They announced that last night.
Wow. That's an angle that I could get behind.
Yeah.
He's petty.
Yeah. Definitely really petty. He came out and said he's an all-star. I've done whatever I can to earn it. So
right.
Let's go ahead and show him tonight in Detroit.
I love that. 25.5 points, relatively red his last 4 games. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm super in for Kyrie. Let's see if that Zion square ends up popping back up, chat. Don't lose faith yet. Don't lose faith
we'll
yet.
See if he ends up playing.
Okay. All right. W squares, chat. Hope you guys enjoyed going over a couple of those prize pick squares along with the straight bets from the Sharp Report as well. We'll post those puppies on the Bookit BTL X right after the show today if you missed them. And once we continue, you will be able to see the plays that were taken and just talked about on the bottom ticker of the show. Okay, on Twitch and YouTube, both. All right. Well, Jovan, now we got about an hour, maybe a little bit less. I would not mind going over NBA, NHL leans from you. We could spend some time on CBB. Where do you want to take us?
Let's go to the association.
Okay, let's talk about some professionals. I'm in. Let's head to the association. A couple games tonight. I was looking at some of these puppies. with all the news going on with the Hornets and Terry Rozier, wouldn't it be funny if they end up coming through tonight and winning outright for no reason? It is the NBA.
Yeah. I don't know that I would get my own coin there with doing
Okay.
that.
Yep. They are coming off an embarrassing loss by 20 points to the Brooklyn Nets, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. Hornets are bad. Are they better than the Wizards, though? They got twice as many wins.
Yeah. I mean, they have a little more of an excuse because, like, LaMelo's been hurt a bunch.
Right.
And I guess the whole team has been hurt a bunch. They're going to be starting Michich tonight, I'm pretty sure, too, at some point. But, yeah, they're also really bad.
Okay. What about Mavs and Pistons? Mavs are only -1. Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries as well, Jovan. Any thoughts on that game with a very short spreads?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because, like, I do think obviously Kyrie is going to have a hell of a game. I don't know that that necessarily equates to them winning because if you pay attention to a lot of his games, I know the recent ones kind of don't line up because he's been struggling a little bit just as the whole team's been struggling. But I feel like a whole team effort is required to beat the Pistons in this spot. It's like I'm not sure that I'm in love with the Mavericks getting it done if it's just all the Kyrie show.
Yeah.
But I will say, because I know Bega makes a good point that Isaiah Stewart's not going to be in the fold, and we all know Jalen Duren is, known for getting 2 fouls in the first 2 seconds of the game. So if he gets in foul trouble a little bit early, that opens up everything because we all know, too, the Mavs are not incredibly strong in the paint. They're a little undersized. They're obviously undermanned right now because they have no Lively, so that could even the scales quite a bit. Like, it's a great matchup for Duren, but there is obviously the big chance that he is not able to stay in the game because that's what he does.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I'm a little bit scarred last night after locking in some NBA plays early on and not waiting for the injury reports, and then John Morant getting rolled out before the game.
Yeah.
The NBA, isn't it something?
Something.
Denver and Philly. You got the Nuggets coming off of 3 straight L's. Shout out Trent. And they're laying 9 points on the roads against the 76ers, Jovan, who have actually won 4 games in a row. They've done something good for the first time this season, and nobody's really talking about it enough. Still 19-27 on the season, but the way they've been playing, the way the Nuggets have been playing, isn't this kind of a big number for Denver on the road?
I don't think so because they're still playing
Right.
the JV Sixers. Like, I looked at it for a second, and I kind of was in the same headspace as you because the Sixers have pulled off a handful of wins in a row, and a lot of them have been as dogs. So you look at it and you would say, isn't this the perfect bounce back spot when you're getting almost 10 points, almost double digits for the Nuggets on the road? Seems a little too enticing to take the Sixers. I don't know that it is. I honestly might get involved with the Sixers. See if we can get, especially now that maybe I'm not getting the full chance to play the Pelicans. I might have to get involved with the Sixers instead.
All right. Wow, look at those splits. I mean, the top is the ML, so
yeah,
take that for a grain of salt.
It's a given. But the one guy that I know is going to do job, regardless of if the Sixers make it close or not, and probably will be my replacement square if Zion doesn't end up playing. Got to take Michael Porter.
Oh wow,
have to.
I thought you were going to say your guy Yabusele.
Well, no, but yes, I'll be taking Yabu, of course, because he's playing the worst version of himself in Nikola Jokic, of course. So I will be we'll be investing, but Michael Pork has to be taken today. I think he's going to grub.
That might be where you lose me, folks. I don't know if I can do it.
Has to be.
Every time I click the button, he never respects my coins.
Dude, he's been respecting coin.
I haven't been taking them. You're welcome.
Fair.
2.5 threes.
No, I was going to take his PRA because Yabu is going to be. Yeah, I feel like on the answer to this, I mean, Jokic is still going to play inside, but I think with as small as the small and not physical as this like Sixers team is, you can spread him out a little bit. So I feel like he's going to be big on the boards. I know that burned a lot of people in the last game too. I think it was like Twitter POD is rebounds, and he just like the whole entire Nuggets team did pretty much nothing. So I think this is kind of the perfect spot to get back involved in that category.
Wow. I mean, you might as well take his brother with him too.
Yeah.
KPJ.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Different brother. But yes.
Is that not his actual brother?
Jonte's his brother.
Dude, I thought Kevin was one of his brothers. Am I just a bozo?
I don't think so. Being that he's Michael Porter Jr. and Kevin's Kevin Porter Jr. The dad's
Well,
not
yeah,
both Michael and Kevin.
Well, I'll let chat roast me on that one. All right, well, we can leave Kevin Porter off to the side. Okay. Chats, yeah, too many Michael Porter Jr. brothers and stories going on with his fam. Threw me off. That's on me. I'll take my L there and I'll move. What about Chicago and Toronto? Jovan, low key, Toronto's been playing really good.
Really good.
5 straight wins, 6 straight wins, and the Bulls are the Bulls still. Are we getting weird here, getting nasty, and maybe taking a dog on the roads?
I don't know that I want to, because the most surprising part of how the Raptors are playing right now, I don't want to take them, especially if Quickly ends up coming back, because that's way too much streak and good news for me. But the most surprising part, like, look at how good their defense has been over the past handful of games. And I know they haven't been playing juggernauts necessarily, but compared to like the auto over defense that we're seeing when they're a little shorthanded for the beginning of the season, I mean, they've been absolute clamps. So like when they're playing a team that is so fast in transition and unorganized, or as unorganized as like the Bulls can be at times, especially with Levine out, I struggle to get my coin on the Bulls side. So like maybe that makes too much sense. Again, I'm probably not taking the Raptors, especially if IQ comes back, but I don't want to fade him just yet.
Jovan, I'll be honest, I still cannot believe I just said Kevin Porter Jr. and Michael Porter Jr. both have juniors in their names.
That was crazy. That was crazy, Krabs. I was
That
gonna
might have been the
let that
stupidest thing.
I was gonna let that get swept a little bit and not bring it up again, but that was insane out of you.
That might have been the stupidest comments of the Big 2-5 for your guy Krabs.
That was all time.
It's only up from there. What are we doing?
Yeah.
2 juniors right there in front of my face. I'm looking at the board. Oh,
gotta be better.
Well, Jovan, after that, I'll just go ahead and leave Michael Porter Jr. off to the side. You could take him, you could splurge, and I'll just go ahead and leave it off.
Out of respect.
Okay. Don't deserve their cashing. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving here. Couple more games. You're taking the Pelicans plus 11.5 here at home.
Yeah.
What about
obviously monitoring?
Oh, continue.
I said obviously monitoring.
Injuries. Sure.
Yeah. I don't really care to buy too much bad news if it ends up being nobody playing for the Pels, but
sure.
Find that out later, I guess.
Are you with me on the Spurs tonight, or am I just making this up, this angle? I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing Wemby and I'm seeing CP3 tonight going out there handing Damon, Giannis, and Al, after they got ruled in earlier this morning, outright.
I could be convinced, Krabs. I could absolutely be convinced.
Giannis's squares didn't make me think he was going to go out there and drop a 50 buck. Spurs are not playing great of late, obviously, but like I said earlier, the Spurs haven't beaten them since 2022. This is the NBA we're talking about here. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Could be the Spurs down to +2.
It could certainly be. And if you like the Spurs, you got to find some squares, because not saying he's going to do as well as he did in that first game in defending Wemby, but Giannis had him on clamps. It's like I think if you really want the Spurs to win, you got to find your Devin Vassell, your CP3, your any of those guys who's going to do it.
Well, there we go, Goots.
Oh, it's huge. Huge.
Goots, why don't you fill the people in, let them know what happened yesterday and what's going on today with the golf squares?
Yeah, fed a 2-piece with Dietrich lesson strokes and Justin Thomas lesson strokes.
Yep.
Today, I gave 4 squares. We got Cantley lesson strokes 69.5. Harris Ingris lesson strokes 70.5. We got Morikawa lesson strokes 67.5, and Jake Knapp more than strokes 71.
It could be the difference.
And yeah, that's it. Could be the difference. Morikawa birdied. Cantley's 1 under through 5, I think. Harris and Jake have yet to start.
I appreciate the updates.
Yep.
As always, Gootsy.
Yep.
All right. Great work. Let's cash some golf again today.
Let's do it.
All right. Awesome. Jovan, we had to get that. We had to get that up and moving here. Let the people know about those golf squares, but do not want to let this Spurs and Bucks game get swept. You talked about maybe some squares in that game, and you brought up CP3. That's who I was looking to target on his PRA. Got a couple weird looking squares. I wouldn't say his points is the weirdest of squares, but it's definitely make you want to take the more than, along with his rebound square, especially coming off of 1 rebound in his last 2 games. The assist square, not that weird, but was kind of thinking about a vintage Chris Paul game tonight, encompassing it all and taking the PRA.
Yeah, and I don't think it's too weird because it makes sense in the fact that like Wemby was getting clamps like they just played a couple weeks ago, and Chris Paul had 18, 7, and 5 with 5 threes. It's like it was kind of one of the shooters by default. It was really from 3. It was him, Devin Vassell, like Champagne off the bench, and Keldon Johnson had a massive game. He had 24 and 11. So like it makes sense. And I think if you're leaning into them, I don't know, doing it again and somehow coming out, not winning the game because they didn't do that the first time, but having some kind of offensive success, he's going to have to be pretty heavily involved, I would think.
Yep. Not really looking to take Devin Vassell, looking at his squares. Not really looking to take Harrison Barnes, typically a guy, a little low-key dude who I would like to take, but not looking at his squares today, Jovan. I think I'm good on Harrison Barnes. Maybe there's some other goats down here. We can look at Jeremy Sokan, who has not been great of late. That's an effort guy. He's coming off a 0 rebound game against the Clippers. How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I know his rebounds is pretty popular today on Twitter. That could be a good look. Not being sarcastic.
No, he didn't get ejected.
I'm not tapped in to Jeremy Sochan basketball.
Yeah, but I've respected this dude's game since he was at Baylor.
Yeah.
And he's an effort guy. He's a grinder. And if the Spurs want a chance to keep this game close against a better team on paper, I mean, he's going to have to show up today, respectfully. And he's coming off a Shugs bagel in that last game against Zubox, I guess, who's just dominating them, grabbing all the boards. Jeremy Sokan's an interesting name. People don't really want to take his offense. If you watch that guy shoot, I don't blame you. He shoots free throws one-handed because he has to, and he's getting better at it, which is crazy. Is that a PRA type situation, or are you just trying to maybe catch the falling knife with Sokan and taking his rebounds?
I mean, I saw some pretty surgical write-ups on Twitter on his rebounds.
Okay.
That could absolutely be it. Because, I mean, from a points perspective, I think I know you wouldn't want to take the guy because he's been shooting the ball well, but he certainly did not in the first matchup where he went 4 for 17. I still like Devin Vassell.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at some of Wemby squares. Never really in a rush to take him. His points square a little bit high with how he's been playing recently, but it's still Victor Wembanyama, so I'm not falling for it.
Yeah.
Gosh, you want to square up and take Devin? What do you like for him?
I mean, I would probably just take his threes because I feel like, really his points and threes are both green. I just think he has to get his threes to get his points and not vice versa. I don't think he's going to be super aggressive at the rim or find much success at the rim either.
All right. Gosh, man. I don't know if my body's going to let me click that button.
I kind of figured. That's why I'm not trying to push you too much there. I'm just telling you what I'm taking.
Now, if you had to take one Spurs square, is that who you're taking?
Yeah, it would probably be him. And then honorable mention. I mean, I don't want to deviate too much from that first game, but I know Chris Paul had some threes that were pretty juicy at 1.5 to be over. They got taken off the board. So, I mean, that could be a good lean back into his points in PRA for you too.
Okay. Chat's starving for a lineup today. I'm not saying we got to force one, but if we're able to craft up a lineup, I think people got a Flex Friday promo.
Yeah.
Chat, you guys want us to maybe craft up an NBA lineup? Let us know. Let us know what you guys want. Let us know what you guys need. Always happy to help and craft up what you guys are looking to lock in. Okay? Wemby threes against a physical big are usually a good look. Dude, sweating out Wemby threes is crazy. That dude's chucking it from the fucking Jumbotron is what it looks like. Crazy sweat. I don't know if I want to take Wemby threes. Chris Paul points. I like that PRA square, Big Cheesy. Any thoughts on Stephon Castle before we move off this game?
Yeah, I'm unsure of like what if he's going to fully run with the starters or he's going to run the second unit too without CP3. I just don't really know what his role is going to be with Sochan back. I don't know if they're going to run big or whatever. I don't know what they do with him between him and like Harrison Barnes, but it makes it weird. I don't know where he's going to fit in.
Yep. He's getting 30 plus minutes. He's guarding Dame to wrap his
Yeah, I know he's definitely going to be guarding a lot of Dame. That's what he did the first time too. I'm just unsure of if he's also going to be fully running the second unit. So I don't know where he fits in that. I haven't watched enough Spurs basketball to be tapped in on the adjustments on that one.
Shout out to Glenn Harris for the follow on Twitch. We were also live on YouTube as well. We've been getting some followers and some subbies over there on the YouTube. I think Goots gave me the update earlier today. We got like 500 new subs on the YouTube this week. So if you guys are sitting there and every time I bring it up, you just ignore me for no reason at all, instead of clicking the button and taking 20 seconds out of your day to subscribe for free, maybe now's the time to do it. Get involved. All right, hop on the bandwagon. Go subscribe over there on the YouTube. All right, could not be freer, and that could not help us out more. You guys don't even understand. All right. W subbies over there on the YouTubes. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Let's take a peep at this late night game, Jovan. Phoenix and Golden State. This one makes my brain hurt. I think there's been some live movement as well. Pretty sure I saw Golden State open up a favorite. Now I'm seeing the Suns as a favorite. Is this going to be one of those weird, close lines that we see just flipping back and forth all day?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if it's going to go any further back without injuries, but it's definitely odd. Feels like this happens in like 50% of Suns games.
Huh. Yeah, they look healthy as of right now. I'm not seeing any injury reports, but it's a late night game. It's still early. So who knows? And then still no Draymond and Kuminga for the Golden State Warriors. Besides that, though, they're pretty healthy as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird seeing the Suns flip to a favorite, but that's probably because Kevin Durant got ruled in or one of the guys got ruled in, right? I'm assuming.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. Katie points, Caruso POD. Just so you know, it was always booked, Arathi says.
Yeah, he did. He came in the spaces, that big spaces last night. Said KD was going to have a legacy game.
Okay.
So much going on in this game. KD going back to Golden State narrative. You got Devin Booker. That's like the all-star snub angle that everybody's playing today. You got, I don't know, a lot of different things on the table. You got the Warriors coming off that crazy outright win against the Thunder too, with the Steph legacy second half. And good God, this game is a bunch of shit put together.
Forgetting how Chewy got the boot in that space. No way they kicked out Chew.
That did happen.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. Speaking of spaces, Jovan, I don't know if chat wants it bad enough. Maybe we sleep in and take the Saturday off and just relax. Maybe cook up some eggs and bacon. Unless chat, really wants one of those CBB spaces at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to come down to how much they want it. You guys want to get involved on a little CBB spaces on the weekends? Run it back like Saturday, 11 a.m., like we did last weekends? Or should we just call it and sleep in? I don't know if they want it. Yale Princeton. Yeah, we'll talk about that game and all the CBB today. Do not worry. Okay? Jimmy, I'm fucking around, bro. I'm just trying to get the juices flowing. Come on. Trying to get the people riled up. Pick 6. You want it? All right, we'll run it.
You might want it.
11 a.m. tomorrow, Eastern. Okay? About an hour before the game start up. We'll fire up a spaces. We'll talk about some CBB. All right? Dubs. LMNG says, need a Death Beam book play now. Well, if you need a Death Beam book play before the squad rides, I'll go ahead and give you mine. It's Georgetown. They're not losing that game. That's my Death Beam play.
Wow.
Jovan?
It's a crazy Death Beam play.
It really is. It should never be.
God, I probably would have said the Pelicans before the news, but give me CBJ plus 1.5 Death Beam.
All right. On the ice. Honestly, was not expecting that, but that could be good for people trying to get involved in the
Could be.
NHL tonight. He said, "What?" Oh, he's geeking at my Georgetown play. Hey, LMNG, you asked, my man. I'm not going to give you any BS. That one came straight from the heart. Okay. Krabs, I sent you a DM of my 4 legs straight from last week's Spaces. It was so sharp, huge. Let's go, William
Yeah,
Wagers.
a couple of people sent me some insanely random stuff they put together from that Spaces, which was hilarious. That was funny. Shout out people.
Vegas Tom, I'm trying to be good right now. I'm trying to save some coins and not going to the casino. Especially considering we might be going out to Vegas for March Madness. So
for sure.
I'm gonna have to take a rain check on that one, Vegas Tom. But yes, there will be a point in our lives where we get to link up at MGM National Harbor. Okay, it won't be too long. All right. Fading Sam Houston has definitely paid rent in this household, Pip said. Well, not in college football this past season, but yes, probably bet in college basketball, fading him. You're making some coins. All right. Jovan. I mean, we went over all the NBA games. You want to head to the ice? Talk about the rest of the matchups?
Yeah, we can. I don't really have much outside of that CBJ game, but we can take a peep.
And not many games, right? Only 3 other games.
Yeah,
we can talk about them briefly.
I'll tell you, I mean,
the CBB here.
One of those that just kind of feels like you know what's going to happen. You see the Blues at plus 160 on the road in the game they should never win against the Avs. That's the most Blues game of all time that they win. It's just classic. They do it every time.
Interesting. Yeah, they've lost 4 of their last 5. I wish Colorado was playing better.
Yeah.
Obviously. They want to make me take them more. But, Jovan, if you're saying St. Louis is a team that nobody wants to bet in that spot on the roads, looking like they're the sharp side at least, catching about 15, 20 cents of steam minimum. Yeah. But do you think that opening line was weird where they were like plus 175?
No. That's probably where they should be. I mean, they're
all right. Now they're
if there were anything a lot shorter than that, I would have raised the alarm immediately.
Okay. Are you going to play St. Louis on the ML, you think?
I think I will, just out of principle, because I sneak it a lot of times just when they're in. I look up and down at the slate and I'm like, the Blues should have no chance to win this game on a road. Throw a half unit on the ML when it's fat plus chicken, and that's when they come through, unlike the times we take them when they're a short favorite in a sharp spot and should win.
Right. All right. Anything in Nashville, Buffalo? First game of the night tonight. Buffalo, I guess, looks like the sharp play, and they're catching minimal steam. But, again, these are 2 of the fakest sharp teams I've ever seen on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the anti-blue spot. Because whenever the Sabres are in the sharp spot, at home especially, that's when they don't come through. So I'm a little worried about pushing that button today, even though I do think the Sabres probably should be the play. Again, I wish they weren't coming off of that 7-2 drubbing of the Bruins, where they looked fantastic. Another one that was a short line at home, very similar scenario. So that's probably why I can't get myself to push the button, and I'm staying off. But I mean, you definitely can't catch me taking the Preds. Okay.
All right. And like Dead Larry Bird's saying, if you're watching that game tonight, maybe get some help.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Those 2 teams have been fake sharp damn near every game this season, man. What a joke. Vancouver, Dallas. Any thoughts on the Canucks plus 140 against these Stars?
It seems like leading into the 4 Nations break, I don't want to say All-Star break because technically it's not, but the most obvious under pretty much every single day has been hitting without a sweat. And I would say without a single question, looking at these 4 games, this is pretty easily it. So, I mean, I'm interested to see if that trend continues. I know, I guess maybe not as obvious if Demko has been struggling a little bit in that, which I assume he is, but the way these 2 teams are playing defensively, I mean, it definitely lines up. So I'm probably not taking it because I can't get myself to push very obvious unders very often, but it's something that I'm definitely monitoring for the next couple weeks.
All right. In chat, Jovan likes St. Louis on the ML. If you missed that,
play that, but
don't play it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking it for any legitimate reason. It's just the Blues.
All right.
Just a Blues bet.
All right. Just a lean.
No, I'm not taking it, so it's more than a lean. I just have no other reasoning than the Blues just win those games for no reason.
Okay. Do not take that, chat.
Yeah.
And then you're on Columbus plus 1.5 on the roads.
Yeah, tail that one.
Sure. Tail that one, folks. All right. Let's head to CBB. Let's talk about this slate today that most people wouldn't like, but we do because we like to get nasty in college basketball. We'll start it out with Yale and Princeton. I was shocked to see Princeton as a dog at home. Maybe that's how good Yale's been playing of late. They're looking like a wagon right now. I mean, they just destroyed Harvard. They're destroying every team in their path pretty much. They're beating almost all these teams in their conference by 20-plus points. That's probably why Princeton is an underdog at home, but Princeton also hasn't covered a game in almost a month. Now, this is a team that's, the books have lost coins on over the last couple seasons. They've been an absolute wagon in CBB, and they still do have the best player on the floor tonight in Xavier Lee. So I don't know if I want to be fading Princeton here, but seeing them as a dog at home is probably pretty telling. Now, Yale's on a crazy hot win streak, so that probably cancels it out. Gun to my head in GTA, I would lean Princeton, but you're not going to see me get into the counter with this team that seemingly does cover more often than not.
Yeah, wouldn't hate you for that. I definitely lean Princeton too. I think Xavier Lee can take over this game. I mean, Yale's defensively, I don't think have any answers for him in the PNR game. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts up one of his better performances in conference play this season.
Yep.
So, maybe a little enticing to take him as a dog at home. Now, I'm not going to do it, but head's definitely that way.
Okay. I'm with you. Are we talking weekend CBB? Probably not, yay, lads. Not many lines out yet, but we will have a Spaces tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Talking about the whole CBB slate. We're going to come prepared, come with some winners, talk about our favorite plays, maybe some prize pick squares, and we'll get people up there to give their sell jobs as well towards the end.
Wow, there are some pretty wild lines dropping, Krabs.
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Give me Georgetown minus 3.5 and give me Dayton plus 1.5 or ML. That's what I'm going to play. But if you want to take the point, feel free. Go ahead. They are a road dog. I'll be on the ML though, on the Flyers. And then go ahead and give me the Mounts as well. Plus 8, plus 7.5, whatever you can get them. Take the spread. You're going to need the points in that one probably. Let's talk about the rest of the slate. Niagara, Canisius. Niagara opened up -4. They're on a crazy losing streak right now. Canisius has actually looked like the better ball club. At least they've gotten a win in the last 2 or 3 weeks, unlike Niagara. But I'd still say it's Niagara laying 4 on the road on this crazy L streak. You won't see me betting it, though, especially after Canisius respected our coins a couple weeks ago.
Can't do it. Have to lean Canisius, the Golden Eagles.
Yep. Agreed.
Or I think that's what
that's probably that's probably the play, but you won't see me on it. They've already respected our coins enough. I'll get in, get out with Canisius.
Yeah.
Dead Larry Bird, bro. Battle of the Bridge rivalry game. Unbelievable. All right. This one just simply means more tonight. Good. Any thoughts on Fairfields and Quinnipiac tonight, Jovan? You got Quinnipiac on fire. You got Fairfield kind of limping into this matchup. I would not have been shocked if we saw Quinnipiac getting a couple more points on the spreads, but they are catching a little steam now. Do you think they win this game big and stay hot, or is Fairfield a play on these spreads?
Can't catch me taking Fairfield, Krabs. Can't catch me doing it. I mean, I have little to no thoughts on this game, but I do not want to fade Quinnipiac. Slightest bit.
I got nothing in Dartmouth, Cornell.
Maybe Cornell.
Cornell minus 10.5.
I just remember I think we had this conversation back in non-con about them playing Notre Dame. They pretty much just pack the paint and make you shoot a ton of threes. That should work really well against Cornell. Sarcastic, obviously.
Cornell's beaten them the last 4 times they played. Maybe they just own Dartmouth.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
They're coming off a plus 4.5 outright win at Princeton. You probably won't see me betting Cornell after that.
That's kind of a legacy one.
Yeah, but I mean, Dartmouth 10-5 against the spread this year. They've been covering every game the last.
Yeah, Dartmouth is on a roll. ATS.
Yep, agreed. Not betting that game. I like Penn at home against Brown. Coming off of back-to-back wins. They did beat Columbia and Harvard outright as dogs, though, in their last 2 games. So do we really want to back them again to stay hot? We knew they were a better team than they showed earlier this season, but after back-to-back W's, probably going to sit this one out, but you won't see me on Brown.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Iona, Manhattan. These teams are moose. Iona has ripped off 3 straight wins, though. Very convenient right after I stopped betting them. 3 straight W's for Iona. The Jaspers, they've won 2 of their last 3. They've looked worse, and they are coming off that outright win at the Mounts in their last contest. So 2 teams who I guess aren't great, but trending in the right direction. Thought it was a little bit weird seeing Iona open up a favorite, but Iona does get way more line respect than the Jaspers do, to be completely fair. So not the weirdest thing seeing them as a favorite. I mean, let's not forget this was a tournament team a couple years ago. So maybe that cancels out. Them opening up -1.5, and we are seeing Manhattan catch some steam as well.
Yeah, keep me away. Keep me far away.
Columbia and Harvard's. People forget Columbia was undefeated, and now they've lost 6 straight games in a row. We're not talking about it. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a hoot. Columbia, one of the weirdest stories in college basketball this season. Now they're on a crazy losing streak, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets worse. I was shocked to see that Columbia team performing at the level they were, because I just don't think they're that good. Now their schedule, I mean, they might as well have been facing 5 babies on the court. To be completely frank with you, they were playing some of the worst teams in CBB to start the season, but it's not like they're in the ACC or the SEC. It's freaking Columbia. Come on now. Let's give them a pass. Harvard's a team that lost their star player last year, a team that's kind of rebuilding this season. Not really sprinting to the books to bet them, but I mean, I will say that spread down from 5.5 to 2.5 in this game kind of makes you want to hop on the train and keep fading Columbia until we see anything differently. They're continuing to regress back. You want to talk about law of averages after the start to the season they had. Yeah, they're coming back down to earth, and I don't think it's done yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree too much. I know there's some Harvard love in the chat and on the feed today. Maybe a little surprising, or not really, I guess, given Columbia's struggles, but still taking Harvard, a team that's dominated them for years, and a team that's on a ridiculous slide. So it makes me feel a little bit uneasy, but you definitely can't catch me on Columbia.
Okay. Jovan, there's a game we're going to talk about that's probably going to piss me off. So I need you to keep me in line here. Okay, I need you to keep me locked in, keep me dialed, because as soon as I bring up this team's name, actually, before I even brought it up right now, I'm already starting to get angry. I can feel it. Akron versus Kent State. Kent State. This team. These sons of guns. They're catching steam at home, Jovan. Opened up barely a favorite. Now they're up to 3.5, 4 against undefeated in conference play, Akron. Undefeated in conference play, Akron. A team on a legacy stretch, Jovan. We just watched this Kent State team. Now, mind you, they did bounce back against Bowling Green in that last game, and we should have had the rent on it, to be fair, after that joke of a performance against Ohio in that game, where Ohio didn't have their 2 best players. They literally were calling the football team to try to find a big man as a backup, and they still lost that game without Ohio's 2 best players. What a joke.
Yeah.
What a joke, Jovan. And now they're laying 3.5 against a team that cannot sniff a loss right now. They're the hottest team maybe in college basketball. And we're seeing the goddamn Kent State Golden Flashes catching steam at home.
Yeah.
Wish I could say that wasn't the case. I wish I could say Akron was catching steam. I wish I could say Akron was laying 10 on the road. But I can't, and I don't make the rules, folks. I don't. It's Kent State. And if they were laying 3.5 before BTL today, they would have been on the Sharp Report.
Of course. What if I also told you, not only are they undefeated in conference play coming into this game, but I'm staring at their team total at 70.5. You want to take a wild guess how many times they've been under that in conference play too?
Let me take a quick guess here real quick, guys. How about 0?
0. And the one that was closest happened to be the first conference game where they scored 71 points. They haven't been below 80 since.
Oh. Are there any injuries, folks? Please tell me that there's an injury and that's why this line's moving. Give me any excuse to stay off the Golden Flashes in the spot. Please, I am begging you. Somebody in chat find me an injury. Somebody in chat find me a reason why this line's moving, because I can't. I've already tried to look. There's nothing. Zip. Zilch. This spread is moving because Kent State is sharp. And it makes me sick to my stomach saying that out loud, but they are. I mean, this might be one of the worst offenses I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really bad. They might have to win with 60 points, but
it might actually
might be a
the
possibility.
worst. It might actually be, I know you guys probably think I'm overreacting. It might be the worst three-point shooting team I've actually ever seen. I think they shoot 15%.
Really bad. Really bad.
It might be the worst three-point shooting team in the history of college basketball. But we're betting them today. Has to be done. Has to be done. I don't make the rules, Jovan.
Yeah.
It's got to be Kent State at home. Oh,
understandable.
This team, dudes. I gotta bet on Von Cameron Davis. I've never seen that guy try a game in my life.
It's the LCPOD too. Kent State minus 2.5. Yep.
Okay.
And she's been dialed.
Let's go LC. Fade and Akron undefeated in conference play. You know, Krabs of late would probably be too scared to put this in the squad ride. He'd probably say, let's go with some other plays. Let's stick with what we know. Let's go with some sharp report plays we came in with. We prepped all morning.
Huge.
But Jovan, I don't give a shit. This is going in there.
Wow.
And we'll talk about that in a moment.
W meet.
You're on Indiana late night, plus 12, plus 11.5, whatever you can get them.
Yep.
Sure. I'll be tailing that one as well. Very happy to hear you like them. And W Nug from our intern Matthew earlier today in our socials call talking about Indiana right now. You guys might have saw the graphic on the Bookit socials, but pretty cool trend. Indiana, either in football or basketball, they have not won a game against a ranked opponent in years. I think almost 2 years, but in a long time.
Yep.
Maybe tonight's the night.
Probably not,
take the points, please.
Take the points. You'll need the
take
points.
The points.
This game probably ends like the Tulane game yesterday. So hopefully a little closer.
All right.
It's going to be Indiana sticking with them for a little bit, going blow for blow. I think there's going to be points, and then Purdue will pull away maybe and win by like 6.
No way we're bringing up Tulane again.
I'm sorry. I just had to give a W comp potentially.
It still stings.
Still does.
Probably shouldn't at this point, but it still does. That's how you know you had a good play. That should not have fucking lost.
Oh. Yeah. Tough.
Goots, I know that one stung your soul as well, man. Sorry, brother. We'll bounce back tonight, though. Yep. No shit. Couldn't have said it any better myself. All right, Siena Marist. Late night, Jovan. We got one more play for the peeps. You got the Siena Saints. Couldn't tell you why that's their name because their mascot's a fucking bulldog. Against Marist at home. You taking Siena on the road, grabbing the points. They are that minus 108, one of the only minus 108 lines on the green book on the sides today, Jovan.
I want to. I can't do it. I can't do it. So with all the couple of gross plays you talked about on the board that were kind of just taking it on the chin and moving on with, this feels like one that I will 100% live without any Siena involvement on the road against Marist, just the greatest team of all time.
Krabs, read Alex's comments, please. Shelly's in rat piss right now. Just accidentally placed a 500 slip 3 times. Same one.
GG.
Well, it better hit.
What is it?
Sheesh. Do we have time to tail?
Yeah, I might have to tail that.
We have time to tail that puppy? Let me know. Vegas Tom with a great point here. Yes, bringing up the Mac from last year. This could be exactly what we need. Kent State lost on a late foul last year versus Akron to go to the March Madness tournament. I'm sure some of the guys still in that squad, they remember that like it was yesterday. They probably lost some sleep over it. Probably got some gray hairs because of it. And they've had that game circled all year. Coach has, the squad has. Revenge angle. This one simply means more. Simply means more. All right. Love it. Jovan, you got any other thoughts on Siena? I'm assuming you like the spread.
Yeah, I do, but
good.
Already getting gross enough on the day. Don't need any Siena investment.
Okay. How'd the pitch go yesterday?
1-1. I didn't really get involved too much, but I was debating getting involved today. So we got some.
Yeah, they got no way they got more again.
I don't think they won.
Ooh.
Galatasaray Turkey team. But there's a couple matches today. You got one in France. I think you got Lens up and moving. You got the Shit Bowl and Serie A in Italy. Parma's up and moving. That game's probably going to soar over. You got some games.
Lots of pitch cake tomorrow as well, I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's a pretty beautiful EPL slate, I believe, tomorrow.
Let's go.
That I might get involved in. That might be breakfast before college ball.
What time do those puppies kick off?
That's early, Krabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get up and moving.
7:30 a.m. Eastern is the first game tomorrow.
Is it really?
We got an 8 a.m. game. I think that's the one you were talking about. 8 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Brighton, 9 a.m. Up and
So
moving.
9 a.m.s. I'll probably get a text. I got a buddy who's pretty big into soccer. I get a text from once a quarter on the weekends for some soccer detail. If I had to guess, I might be getting a text tomorrow.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. If my guy Nick's watching in chat, text me this weekend. Let me get some soccer plays. I'm back in. All right. Any soccer today?
I have nothing that I bet already now. I debated it, though.
What were you debating?
Just debating a little Lens ML against Montpellier Goats.
Okay.
Yeah, man, there's a couple games that like are shit bowls, which typically I love to bet, but I don't know. Lens might have to be added. The over in Parma might have to be added, but those are two incredibly simple plays.
All right. It's probably enough pitch for me this week. Had enough pitch to last a lifetime, I think.
Yeah.
This week. All right, chat. We still got about 10, 15 minutes left. I don't want to rush the squad ride. We'll spend plenty of time on it. Are there any other plays, angles, games, prize pick squares, whatever it is you guys want to talk about, you guys want to ask us? Now's a good time. If you got any questions for the games going on today, any winners for tonight, whatever the sport is, fire away some questions. Now's the time. We could also finalize a prize picks lineup.
I have some questions, Krabs.
Yeah?
I'm surprised that Pelicans line is creeping their way still just a little bit. Zion's not officially out, but they got a couple guys ruled out and a couple more questionable. And that line does not seem to have budged quite yet. Continuing to inch their way. It's keeping me in some confidence.
Who else besides Zion might not play tonight who's been playing?
Well, I said Tyson Hawkins are confirmed out already. And I think there's somebody else who's ruled questionable. I'm looking at the underdog account now with Zion. I know DeJounte got ruled in, which we already knew, I guess. But they're going to be a little thin, which is interesting. Auto tail rumors.
Dude, we do have a Pega auto tail.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
What's the auto tail?
Pega cashing in some freaking channel points. Let's go, Pega.
What if he's going to take us to the pitch?
Parma over.
Wow. Parma over auto tail, Krabs.
Is that today?
That is. That's in
cool.
Serie A. Starting up in an hour, just about.
We got an hour?
Yeah.
All right, Pega. Pega said you are getting involved in the pitch today, Krabs, and I'm making sure of it.
Let's go. I'm down. Let me go and punch that in.
All right, what is he like? Parma
the over. 2.5 minus 120.
The over in the game, right?
The over in the game, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I got minus 125, but that ain't no problem, folks. Yep. I will happily lay 5 cents a juice to tail the auto tail play from our guy Pega in chat. People forget you can cash in your channel points, guys, for some pretty cool stuff. Get some auto tails, you get some follows. Don't be afraid to cash in those channel points if you got them. Don't just let them marinate. You got to spend them at some point. All right?
Yep.
A little over. All right, let me lock it in real quick before I forget. Okay, line just moved against the over. SVN saying,
I wouldn't. It's soccer. That doesn't matter.
Whatever. Okay.
The line Trent was bitching because what was it, a week ago? I got him to tail the Benfica Barca over, and it moved like 10 cents to the under in front of his face, and he chalked it, and that game ended up with 9 goals.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not that that's every single game, but it doesn't quite strike the same fear in you that it does for every other sport.
Okay. All right. Wow, I just saw something crazy on my feed right now. Wilson Ramos is a U.S. citizen, and he's holding up a little American flag. Remember the old legendary catcher
The
from the
Buffalo.
Nats? Let's go, Wilson Ramos. Attaboy, the Buffalo. Dude, one of the only Nats as a kid who brought joy to my heart. I'll be honest. As soon as they put contacts in that guy's head, he became the greatest hitter of all time, and he was a Ray.
He was
a
an
Ray.
all-star Ray.
Yeah.
People
Let's go.
forget. I think that
All right.
that game was in DC too, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you do?
Could be tripping.
Oh, the soccer game?
No. The All-Star game that he played with the Rays.
Oh. If it was the same one Harper won the home run derby in, then it was.
Yeah, I think it was. Maybe that was him and Corey Dickerson year. I don't know if they did it at the same time, but I know he was there.
All right. All right, guys.
Just pounded Swordsby Friesman. Goat.
All right, I just locked in the over on the
need to get a
pitch,
Swordsby
over
jersey.
2.5, minus 120. I did fine, so I'm locked in for half a unit, Pega. Let's fucking cash, my man. Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. Any Goots PODs today? I want to make sure I give him the floor if he has any.
Nothing on the books. I'm just dotted on this golf.
Right.
I'm going to keep an eye on it. Might have some live bets at some point.
All right. Let us know.
Need those.
Love you, Gootsy. You gents want to hit the squad rides? Spend 5 or so minutes on that puppy. Take our time. Make sure we craft up a winner for tonight.
Yep, let's hit it.
I'm in. Gootsy, run that shit. I want to see that damn train. Penn State minus 3.5.
That was quick.
I'm not fucking around.
That sounds like your foot down, POD Krabs.
I'm not fucking around.
Put it in.
Put it in. Kent State minus 3.5. What do you want to put in this puppy? Indiana?
Yep.
I love our plays today. What are you seeing for Indiana right now?
I see 12 flats.
Oh. Fuck CLV. Good. We don't want that half point. You want to put the Pelicans in here, dude? Because the more you talk about them, the more I want to bet them.
I mean, I would really love to. Like, I think I'm huge goods. I still want to bet it, even if there's injuries, but I don't want to be stuck with a squad ride and the whole team's not playing, man.
Okay. It's soft, but that's fair.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I learned my lesson last night. Locking in Memphis, not being patient, not waiting like I should have. And I paid the price.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
So if that's what you want to do, we can leave it out. But I think that's a winner no matter what happens. I want to say that one more time. Okay. Now, you did say you love the Blue Jackets today.
Yeah. That's a very, I don't know. I don't want to say a very uncrabby play, but it's not incredibly crabby either. It's a weird one.
It's definitely not crabby, but does not mean it's not a winner.
You know what I'll compare it to? Because I think it's a relatively similar situation. This is like the Wild yesterday. Sorry to bring that up, but no flurry narrative. But it's a team that just won and is playing in a back-to-back kind of weird situation where you wouldn't expect them to have much life on the road. So I'm hoping they come out the same way.
I bet it compares to the Wild. I bet that's a comp. I fucking bet it is. The Canadians stink.
I don't even put
They
that one
stink.
on you, Krabs. I don't put that one on you.
Stink.
That was a flurry last game in his hometown. That was a tough one to bet against. I'm mad I didn't get to the counter with the Wild. I wanted to.
Krabs, give us an option to redeem with points, a squad ride option. I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that. Are you able to do that, Pega?
I think he's saying add an option, add more options to the channel points stuff.
Yeah,
We
he's
do
saying,
need an overhaul of the options there.
okay.
So that's
All
the
right.
next project, I guess.
All right, let me put that in my notes then. We could talk, Goots. We'll talk about that after this afternoon. I'll put that on my notes. I don't know why I'm pinning that on Goots, but it's because he's the jack of all trades. We'll talk about that later, Gootsy. Okay, boys. Listen, we got Kent State locked in. We got Indiana locked in. Okay. Are we putting the Blue Jackets in here? Is it a winner or what, dude?
I think it's a winner, Krabs.
All right, then let's put it in there. Goots, you think it's a winner? Do you like the sell job?
I feel like Goose is sneakily sharp at picking out the ice cake.
I know. Yeah, please, Goots, if you're getting cold feet, we need to know. Okay, good. Okay, good. I'll tell you right now, Jovan, I would like to put Georgetown in here.
Yeah, down with that.
We could have the Mount be an honorary squad ride.
Oh, I forgot about the Mount. How are we not putting the Mount in here?
Well, we can make it a 5-piece if you want.
We might have to make it a 5-piece. At least put it on the platter.
I worry that the Mount could outweigh some votes for some better sell jobs that were given today. That was kind of why I didn't put it in there originally. But, dude, if you're telling me to put the Mount in the poll, you don't got to tell me twice.
Is it green or what, Krabs? You're the Mount guy.
I mean, yeah, they're keeping this one within the number. They're keeping this one within 2 or 3 points.
Get him up and moving.
Dallas Hobbs season.
Remember the name. Up and moving. He's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be him because they're going against his own. It's gonna have to be him dominating.
He might get a summer league invite if he keeps this up.
That might be a little far. Maybe a summer league invite in Croatia or something. But I respect him now.
Yeah, maybe a winter league invite overseas.
Yeah,
for European basketball.
Play
Chat 5 plays, 5 winners. Lock in. All right, Goots has to get back to the golf. I already know he's fucking dialed as shit right now.
Dialed, dude.
He's got his screens up. He's grinding BTL, killing in the back ends, and he's got one of the many TVs with the golf on off to the sides. Goots, how's the round going today to start it out?
It's going all right. Morikawa's dialed. Cantlay's just on a par train.
That's okay. We got time.
It was a little shaky, but we had time.
We got time. It's early.
Yeah.
It's early, Goots. All right. Stay dialed, my man. Great job again this week and today.
Yes, sir.
Running BTL as always. Absolute beast. Chat, great week this week as well. I know we didn't have Trent for a couple of the days this week, but appreciate you guys showing up, showing out, and hopping on the stream, supporting the squads. WRAV.
Rav W's do not grow on trees.
No, they don't. But this week they have. I'll give them that. This week they have. Rav stepping up to the plates. We needed the most. Are we getting a Surge Stream Friday today? Are we getting Rav, DJ Fitz, one more?
Dude, you got DJ Fitz in the VIP chamber, giving the full platter yesterday, Krabs.
I need to see that VIP chamber.
Incredible. I love when Fitz is in the chamber.
I need to see Friday afternoon, DJ Fitz locked in the chamber, just finding winners left and right. One more over and over again.
No way you full faded Fitz.
Fitz.
No way.
Fitz. How many plays you give, man?
Dude, you gave like 7? 4 or 5 plays, I'm pretty sure.
Shit. Fitz. What are we doing, Fitz?
We're drowning in the Discord. It's all right. Friday Fitz is getting slick back, man.
All right. Chat, get those votes in. There's not much time. Looks like we're teaming up with LC, taking Kent State, laying 3.5. Wow. Oh boy.
That's the rare 2-foot down squad ride PODs in a week. That could be the difference.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Jovan, it feels right. It feels vintage. And this could be the kick in the butt we need to lock into the squad ride votes, to turn around the vibes and get back in the win column. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's finish the month strong. And then we're going to absolutely dominate February, leading into March Madness, giving you guys all the spoon-fed gobs on prize picks on the books for CBB. We're just getting started. All right, stick with us. We'll catch you guys next week. Same time, same place as always. Okay, squad ride tonight, Kent State -3.5. Kent State getting their lick back tonight against Akron. It's all golden flashes. All right, we'll catch you guys next week. We appreciate you. Stick around for the third stream. And yeah, the Mount should have gotten more votes, but that's okay. We'll catch you guys next week, same time.